Have you ever wondered about the first major victory for the French army during the Revolutionary Wars? Well, allow me to take you back to the year 1792. In this dramatic chapter of history, France was a nation in turmoil. The French Revolution had just begun, a tempest of change that saw the old world order swept away in a tide of rebellion and radical ideas. The monarchy was teetering on the brink, and the revolutionary government was struggling to maintain control amidst internal discord and external threats. Across the Rhine, the Prussian troops, under the command of the formidable Duke of Brunswick, watched the chaos unfold with a predatory eye. They saw in the revolution not a beacon of liberty, but a threat to the established order of Europe. And so they decided to march on Paris, aiming to quell the revolutionary fervor and restore the monarchy. The French, however, were not to be easily subdued. Even as the Prussian boots echoed menacingly across the border, French generals François Kellermann and Charles Dumouriez rallied their troops. They knew that they were the last line of defense for their nascent republic. Failure was not an option. The significance of the impending battle was not lost on them. If they could halt the Prussian advance at Valmy, it would be a victory not just for France, but for the revolutionary ideals that were shaking the very foundations of Europe. It would be a deafening declaration that the old order was crumbling and a new world was emerging from its ashes. The Battle of Valmy was not just a military confrontation, but a clash of ideologies. It was a fight for the soul of France, and indeed the spirit of an age. The stakes were high, the tension palpable. The world watched and waited. So, with the stage set for a decisive battle, the French generals Kellermann and Dumouriez prepared to defend their homeland. As dawn broke on the 20th of September, the Prussian troops began their march towards Paris. The morning air was thick with anticipation as the Prussian forces, led by the Duke of Brunswick, advanced with measured determination. Their strategy was clear: march on Paris and quell the burgeoning French Revolution. But the French were not to be easily subdued. Across the rolling landscape, the French troops, under the command of Generals François Kellermann and Charles Dumouriez, braced themselves for the impending clash. Their strategy was a blend of audacity and strategic brilliance. They knew the terrain, and they understood the stakes. They were fighting not only for their lives, but for the very heart of the French Revolution. The Prussian troops, confident and well-drilled, began their assault. Volley after volley of musket fire echoed across the battlefield, a chilling symphony of war. But the French were ready. In their ranks, the spirit of the revolution burned bright. They returned fire, their cannons roaring in defiance, a clear message to the Prussians that they would not be easily defeated. The French generals, Kellermann and Dumouriez, played pivotal roles in this stage of the battle. They orchestrated the French resistance with deft precision, expertly maneuvering their troops to counter the Prussian advance. Kellermann in particular proved instrumental in rallying the French troops. His now famous cry, "Vive la Nation," rang out across the battlefield, inspiring his men to hold their positions. Despite their superior numbers and military prowess, the Prussians found themselves stymied by the French resistance. The French troops, fueled by the spirit of the revolution and led by their able generals, were proving to be a formidable force. As the day wore on, it became clear that the French were holding their ground against the Prussian onslaught. The Battle of Valmy was shaping up to be a defining moment in the French Revolution, a testament to the resilience and determination of the French people. The battle would not be decided by the sword, but by the cannon. Such was the reality of the Battle of Valmy, a pivotal moment in the Revolutionary Wars, where the power of artillery took center stage. In the face of advancing Prussian troops, the French, under Generals François Kellermann and Charles Dumouriez, knew they had to hold their ground near the village of Valmy. This wasn't just a fight for territory. It was a fight for the heart and soul of a revolution. The French had something the Prussians didn't: the power of conviction, the courage of revolutionaries fighting for their ideals. And so the cannon became their instrument of defiance. The French artillery was strategically positioned, ready to unleash a rain of iron and fire upon the approaching enemy. The thunderous echo of each cannon shot resonated across the battlefield, a formidable symphony of power and resistance. Each cannonade sent a clear message to the Prussians. It wasn't just an attempt to halt their advance, but a declaration of the French's unwavering resolve. Against all odds, the French soldiers stood firm, their courage matching the deafening roars of their cannons. The Battle of Valmy was not won solely by military strategy or superior numbers. It was the sheer audacity of the French, their courage under fire, and their use of artillery that turned the tide. The cannons of Valmy didn't just strike fear into the hearts of the Prussian troops, they also instilled a sense of pride and determination among the French revolutionaries. This was a battle fought not just on the field, but in the hearts and minds of the French. Every booming cannon shot was a testament to their spirit of revolution, their willingness to fight for what they believed in. And with each cannonade, they held their ground, defending not just their position, but the very essence of their revolution. With each booming cannon shot, the French not only defended their position, but also their revolution. The echoes of the cannons had barely faded when the significance of the French victory became apparent. As the smoke cleared over the fields of Valmy, the Prussian troops were in retreat. Their march on Paris halted. The French generals, François Kellermann and Charles Dumouriez, stood victorious. Their strategic brilliance had successfully stopped the advance of the Duke of Brunswick's forces near the village of Valmy. This victory, though unexpected, was a beacon of hope for the French revolutionaries. The immediate aftermath of the Battle of Valmy was a tide of boosted morale, rolling through the ranks of the French army and the revolutionaries. The common men and women of France, who had long been oppressed under the monarchy, saw in this victory a promise of change, of a future where they would be free. This win was not just a military victory, it was a triumph of the ideals of the revolution. It was a testament to the power of the people, proving that they could stand against the mightiest of armies. The victory at Valmy was a turning point. It was the moment that the French Revolution gained momentum, no longer just a ripple, but a wave crashing against the old order. The aftermath of this battle saw the formal declaration of the end of monarchy in France. The revolutionaries, buoyed by their victory, declared the establishment of the French Republic. The king was no longer the ruler. Power was now in the hands of the people. The Battle of Valmy had not only changed the course of the war, but it had also changed the course of history. The Battle of Valmy was a spark that ignited the flame of revolution, a flame that would spread across Europe and the world. It was the first major victory for the French army, a victory that would pave the way for many more. It was the moment that the French Revolution stepped onto the world stage, no longer just a domestic affair, but a global phenomenon. In the wake of the battle, the French Revolution was no longer a domestic issue, but a force to be reckoned with on the world stage. The Battle of Valmy was more than just a military victory, it was a turning point in history. The echoes of the cannons that rang out on that fateful day in September 1792 still resonate in the annals of history. The Battle of Valmy was more than a mere clash of arms. It was a defining moment that shaped the course of the French Revolution, and indeed the trajectory of European history. The victory at Valmy did more than just halt the Prussian advance on Paris. It was a shot in the arm for the French revolutionaries, bolstering their morale and solidifying their resolve. The unexpected triumph breathed new life into the revolutionary cause, fanning the flames of change that were already sweeping across France. But the influence of Valmy didn't stop at the French borders. It reverberated across Europe, sending shockwaves through the corridors of power. It was a stark reminder to the monarchies of Europe that the winds of change were blowing, that the old order was crumbling, and a new era was dawning. The Battle of Valmy also served as a powerful symbol of revolutionary spirit and national unity. The French soldiers who held the line that day were not seasoned veterans, but ordinary citizens who had taken up arms for their country and their ideals. Their courage and determination became emblematic of the revolutionary spirit, inspiring generations of French people and freedom fighters worldwide. Valmy marked the end of monarchy in France and the birth of the French Republic. It was a testament to the power of the people, a monument to their struggle for liberty, equality, and fraternity. It was proof that ordinary people, when united by a common cause, could stand up to the mightiest of armies and change the course of history. So next time you ponder the course of history, remember the cannons of Valmy and the day they changed the world.